Warning, this video contains flashing lights.
Dr. Ash, you're familiar with the SIN test, correct?
Yes I am.
Alright. As you know, I'll be asking you a series of questions. Answer them truthfully, and at the end, we'll be able to determine if you're infected or not. Let's begin. First question. You're outside, and a person running across the road drops a $20 bill. What do you do?
I'd pick it up and keep it. I'm not going to chase them down just to give it back to them.
Okay. Next question. You're invited to your uncle's wedding and decide to go. Why did you do this?
If I did that, it would be for the free food.
Next question. You take a walk at sunset. Passing a window, you see someone dancing alone in their living room. What are you thinking at this moment?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Why would I be on a walk? Why during sunset? What is the purpose of the sunset?
Do you go to church, Dr. Ash?
Is this part of the test?
Answer the question, Marcus.
I do.
Okay, let me ask you another question. Do you believe in God?
I do. I said I go to church.
Very well. You're stuck in the middle of the ocean with your son, and the lifeboat only has one seat left. What do you do?
Take the last seat for myself, of course. I need to survive. Any sane person would do the same.
Would you say your knowledge of the world is greater than anybody you've met?
Yes, I would say that applies to me. Actually, I know it does.
And what would you say about your concept of infinity? Can you see it clearly?
Yes, I can.
Code 66. Deploy asphyxium.
Code 66. Error. Task cannot be completed. Error.
Hello, gorgeous people. What is going on? And welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are back going over the incredible analog horror series, Midwest Angelica. Now, in case this is your first time seeing this series, Midwest Angelica takes place in the 80s and 90s, when scientists discover a strange object in space. As it gets closer to Earth, a piece of it lands on Earth, and it turns out it's alive, and starts to infect the human population. And its main goal is to spread and continue infecting more and more people. And this series documents how mankind is trying to learn about this strange alien and prevent the infection. Now, I've gone over season 1 of the series before, and in case you haven't seen that already, I highly recommend you go and watch that first using the link in the description down below. But today, we're going to be covering the Interlude, a series of 5 episodes that take place between season 1 and season 2. Now, it has been over a year since I went over season 1 of Midwest Angelica, so here's a quick recap for all of you. In 1985, the Glenn Research Center detected an object in space near Jupiter. It's about 41 miles in diameter, and they named it AZ-001. As it moves through space, they continue to do research on it to see if it may be harboring life. But they realize that the object itself may actually be a corpse. NASA forms a team called HOME. HOME's objective is to continue researching AZ-001 and hopefully make contact when it gets closer to Earth. Dr. Lucas Michaels is the head of HOME, but we learn he apparently went missing in 1989, and his whereabouts are unknown. This will be important for today, so do not forget that. And then finally, on January 16th of 1999, AZ-001 is close to Earth, and a large chunk of AZ-001 separates from its main body. This large chunk is labeled AZ-001 Alpha and enters the Earth's atmosphere. The chunk ends up landing in the middle of Nebraska, and HOME sends out a team to make contact with the chunk, and they decide to burn it all. But as they start setting it on fire, it starts to move and attack the HOME team. Pieces of the chunk start crawling into the suits of the HOME team and melting their faces. And that's just the start of season 1. From here, the alien infection just continues to spread to people near the crash site. HOME does research and sees just how rapidly the infection can spread in whatever it chooses to assimilate. They discover the infection seems to have intelligence, and they end up naming this alien infection STARKILL, and say it needs to be eliminated on site. On January 28th, Dr. Evans returns to Alpha Chunk to do more research, but what we end up finding out is he's somehow infected, and the infection seems to be keeping itself almost a secret. In some people are infected, we can outwardly see that they're infected just based on extra things that are growing out of them. But in Dr. Evans's case, it seems that his infection is using his body to make him do other things to spread the infection. Dr. Evans returns to home HQ and infects the water cooler in an attempt to spread the infection to everyone at home. This action ends up infecting Dr. Ray O'Connor without him knowing. Eventually, Dr. Evans is caught and eliminated, and home HQ is put under lockdown, but it's already too late, as Dr. Ray O'Connor is nowhere to be found, and now may be spreading the infection too. We find out Dr. O'Connor went to a church service in Long Pine a few days after the home HQ lockdown, and a 911 call reveals that human sacrifices seem to be happening outside of the same church. When police are sent to investigate, we find out that our concerns were true, and Dr. O'Connor did in fact infect everyone that went to the church service and more. The police discover some weird documents in the church, stating we have ascended beyond mortals and become apostles of Azazel. We also learn about an altar and how it offers souls to the body of the fallen, and how it's infinite in its life cycle, death but a moment of passing time. The officer then goes outside and finds a giant structure in the forest made of human bodies, and soon after is killed. In the final video of the first season, we learn more about the infection and how the entire thing works. In Stage 1, STARKILL begins to absorb biomass to sustain itself for the future. In Stage 2, STARKILL locates the most intelligent species available for assimilation. In Stage 3, STARKILL is able to create other entities from itself using biomass structures called hubs. These hubs include altars, which we saw in the previous video, which can produce smaller STARKILL life forms. And another hub is a temple, which produces larger STARKILL life forms. A fourth stage has been hypothesized if the STARKILL network becomes large enough. And if this spread of the STARKILL infection continues, it's speculated that within a year, the entire United States will be infected. And that is just how Season 1 ends. So yeah, humanity's in a pretty bad spot right now. So today, we're going to go through the Interlude, which is a set of 5 videos that take place between Season 1 and Season 2. Our goal is to watch all of them, and I'm going to try to explain everything to you guys the best way that I can. Now, as always, please be sure to go support the original creator of this series, Midwest Angelica, whose link to their channel will be at the top of the description down below. Please be sure to go and support your analog horror content creators. Also, Midwest Angelica makes some awesome merch, which I'm actually wearing right now. I've worn the shirt about 1,000 times since I bought it after covering Season 1, but they've come out with a ton of new and cool shirts and stuff since then. Link to that will be in the description as well. But alright guys, enough of me yapping. Let's jump right in. Video 1. Easter. Okay, we're like not even 2 seconds in and we got a flashing image already. So let's go back and take a look at that. Home Delta archival material, I'm guessing that's supposed to say. It's a really old and beat up too. This may be a little confusing. I did make a video on one of the Season 2 Midwest Angelica videos already. So if you watched that, great. But if you didn't, don't worry. But in that video, they talk about Home Delta, and I believe Home Delta is formed after Home. But we're gonna go over all this again. Just know that Home Delta is like another branch of Home, and this is technically, I guess, their archival material that we're about to watch. Home, Xenobiology Research Group, Psychological Contamination Lab, BSL-4 Research Center, clearance level top secret, February 19th, 1999, analysis report. Okay, so this is taking place like a little over a month after the Alpha chunk landed on Earth. Now, the clearance level is top secret, but don't worry. I'm giving you guys the pass, all right? You guys got the top secret clearance pass from me. So don't worry, the FBI or the US government isn't gonna come after you. But if something happens to me, then they might come after you, so just be aware of that, but you should be fine for now. Emergent STARKILL research. The process of communication between unique instances of STARKILL, including the instance known as AZ001, has yet to be fully researched. New findings indicate that communication between unique instances occurs on an information plane parallel to local reality. Okay, more flashing images. EWA, but the E looks upside down. And then we got some like waveforms, it looks like. And then this one appears to be sideways, 0, 7, and 0. I'm just gonna keep pausing just because I don't want these to go away. I'm sorry. Audio report from Dr. Stanley Vega of the Xenobiology Research Group in regards to findings associated with Podolsky neurons.
While we previously had a rough understanding of how the STARKILL infection assimilates foreign biomatter, and that its methodology for doing so seemingly depends on what intentions it has, we, until recently, failed to understand how different pieces of the alpha chunk seemingly all become aware of new information, even if its pieces are long distances apart from each other. Recent experimentation revealed that certain alpha chunk samples emanate a unique energy signature not previously encountered in prior studies. We've discovered that this energy signature becomes more detectable in parts of the alpha chunk where large concentrations of what we fittingly called Podolsky neurons are present. Because of their presence in AZ001, we are of the belief that these Podolsky neurons are part of the entity's central nervous system. Specifically, they are responsible for transmitting information signals to different parts of the entity's body. The observation that different pieces of the alpha chunk all become aware of the same information simultaneously, despite their masses not being physically connected, leads us to believe that Podolsky neuron signals operate on a principle similar to quantum entanglement.
Okay. I actually think I understand what they're saying there, but let me just look something up. Okay, so what I want to look up was quantum entanglement and what it actually is. So technically, the whole process is way too complicated for me to explain to you, but in short, it's a connection between two or more particles where they become linked, sharing the same fate even when separated by vast distances. So I guess the whole point of it is that these two things are connected despite actually being completely separate. So in relation to STARKILL and the infection and AZ001, basically anything that has the STARKILL virus or infection in it is connected to each other through a hive mind type of mentality. And that's because of those, I believe they called them Podolsky neurons. The Podolsky neurons inside the STARKILL virus is what connects everything together. So AZ001 is like, I guess you could almost say like the mothership, like the source of the STARKILL infection. And when it's sent down a piece to Earth, it's still connected to it. It knows what it's doing. It can still control it and make it spread despite being completely separated because of this hive mind mentality, because of these Podolsky neurons being able to connect to each other. At least that's how I'm understanding it. I hope that makes sense to you guys. Again, chart flashing. This long-range network of Podolsky neurons has been dubbed the Akashic Plane. Access to the... I didn't finish reading that. Access to the knowledge within the Akashic Plane may be the... redacted. Interesting. Why is that redacted and what does it actually say? Then we get some flashing images. Looks like it says classified. And Home Delta logo again. Akashic Interaction Tests, March 15th, 1999. Test participant information. Name, Stanley Vega. Okay, hold up. Too fast. Test participant information. Stanley Vega. Date of birth, June 7th, 1958. City, Chicago, Illinois. Home ID, I don't think we need to worry about that. Baseline phrase, present day, present time. I believe Stanley Vega is the person we were talking before. Podolsky samples are inserted into the spinal cord via incision in the neck. 3 samples are administered and results are recorded via EEG. Test 1. Did they need the camera so close? I feel like this guy's breathing on me right now. He's definitely acting weird. Participant is asked to report thought processes and to re-enter personal info. Okay. Let's see what he enters. Stanley Vega, 6'7". Ooh. Was it the 7th? 338. Okay, interesting. Some of this information is wrong already. The year here is actually wrong, and a few of the numbers in his home ID are wrong. So this thing that they injected him with is already messing with his head. Participant continues to believe that the test is a screening for infection. Test 2. Wait, why does he think it's a screening for infection? Are you telling me that Home Delta manipulated this guy into thinking that he was just being screened for an infection, but they actually injected him with something instead to do an experiment on him? It's pretty messed up, especially since apparently he's the doctor that did this report on the whole Podolsky thing. Like, he's the one that figured this out, and now they're experimenting on him with it? That's insane. Test 2. That's horrible. Stop it. That made me so uncomfortable. Ooh, we're spiking a bit here. Alright, here we go. Let's see what the information he enters now. Okay, whoa. Wait, whoa. Oh, hold on a minute. John Carlisle Longpine. So Longpine Church is where Ray O'Connor, went to that church service and then everybody there got infected and they made an altar there. So this is just an example, I guess, from what I'm thinking is, how it's all connected. How even when you become infected, you're still connected to the rest of the infected. So now Stanley Vega thinks that they're John Carlisle because John Carlisle is also infected and they're sharing like the same like brain network right now, I guess. That's so interesting. I pray every morning and let me just double check. I believe John Carlisle is another person that was at Long Pine Church. Let me just fact check that though. Okay, so yes, throwback to the bulletin video with, the list of all the people that were participating in the Long Pine Church. John Carlisle is one of the names. And we know that John Carlisle for sure got infected because Ray O'Connor was there and he kind of infected just everybody at the church that day. Now, they did say they injected him with the Podolsky samples, but I don't know if that means that he's injected with the infection or just the Podolsky samples. Because if it's just the Podolsky samples, then it could just be what's connecting him to the infected and he's not infected, or it could be that he's still getting infected because the Podolsky samples are also the infection. Jesus, I feel like we're talking a lot of nerd science right now, so I hope you guys are keeping up with me. Participant expresses intimate knowledge of a man named John Carlisle. Test 3. I really like how they tied that back. Okay, I've seen enough. Did he say something there? I couldn't really catch that. Oh wow, those are just all over the place. Name, Easter. Date of birth, Easter. City, Easter. Home ID, Easter. Baseline phrase, Easter. Participants' vocabulary limited to the word Easter. Akashic Interference Probe prototype. Extracts data from Akashic plane. Requires Podolsky cluster for data quality. And that's it for the first video, and the first video is called Easter. Now, in 1999, Easter happened on April 4th. So I'm wondering if he's only saying Easter because the Hive Mind network is going to do something on Easter, which again would be April 4th in the year 1999, which at the time of this test, when did they do this test? This test happened on March 15th of 1999, so it's like half a month away. So I'm guessing that's predicting like a future event, but it's interesting that we get to see just directly how the STARKILL infection works and how it's all connected. I like that they gave it, you know, somewhat of a scientific tie-in that made sense to me, at least. There is some weird code type thing in the description though, and it's definitely not Morse. I think, okay, the comments are saying it's base 64. So let's see. So if you insert what was in the description there, you get knowledge. And I guess the tie-in there would be that by being infected with STARKILL, you're getting this mass amount of knowledge from everyone else that's infected. So just interesting to note, interesting to know. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this video. So let's go on to the next one. Video 2, Babylon. Babylon Project. Home HQ East Hall. Home Delta.
Today marks the 12-year anniversary of the Babylon Project and the founding of Home Delta. The date is March 13th, 1999.
Hold up. Excuse me?
Today marks the 12-year anniversary of the Babylon Project and the founding of Home Delta. The date is March 13th, 1999.
Let me just make sure I got my math right here. So Home Delta, I don't know what the Babylon Project is yet. That's probably what we're about to learn about. But Home Delta was formed in 1987. That doesn't even make sense to me. Okay, so Home was created in 1987. I did just check. That is the year that Home was created. But I thought Home Delta was only like a new branch that was created, but apparently Home Delta has also been around for the same amount of time as the original Home. And the Babylon Project also started 12 years ago. Oh, let's just watch.
As director of the Babylon Project, reporting to the General Commanding Director of Home Delta, I, Dr. Robert Spencer, am obliged to construct this full report detailing the Babylon Project's progress as of March of 1999. Since the Annunciation event on January 28th and the subsequent elimination of Dr. Evans, the contamination of Home HQ has continued to progress at an exponential rate. We estimate that around 75% of Home staff have been infected and continue operation as phantoms. Further, through routine checks of Home HQ, we have determined that the STARKILL biomass has reached the Temple classification. We believe that Wraith classification entities may be birthed by the Temple in as soon as 12 days. My recommendation would be to gather the final samples for research and begin Operation Homebound promptly. The Deathbringer squads are prepared for immediate action.
Okay. So to explain the information, if you remember, Dr. Evans was infected. He went back to Home HQ and pretty much started a mass infection there by infecting Ray O'Connor and infecting the water cooler. And it seems that now, like they said, 75% of Home HQ is actually infected, and the infection just keeps growing there. And they want to start Project Homebound, and apparently the Deathbringer squad is ready to execute that plan. Dr. Robert Spencer and Dr. Gamma Churchill meeting March 13th, Babel site, recorded meeting.
Dr. Churchill, we're preparing for the final descent into Home HQ now. Mission will commence in 48 hours.
Good. Spencer, I have a request.
What is it, sir?
Dr. Stanley Vega of the Xenobiology Group has been researching the Akashic plane. I need you to retrieve him and his work, but under no circumstances should you allow him to learn the true nature of Home Delta.
Understood. What should be done if he's already infected?
He won't be. He works in the BSL-4 lab. We've determined that sector to be clean, and it's projected to be clean for at least 10 more days. If he's visibly infected, eliminate him. Otherwise, we will conduct a SIN test to determine if he has phantom blood. Retrieve his lab assistant too, Dr. Solomon Ezra. Same rules apply.
If you don't mind me asking, sir, what are you planning with him?
My plans of Vega have nothing to do with your job. This is for your own good, Spencer. The most I can tell you is that it involves research into the Akashic Plane. Speaking of which, have you retrieved the new info on Lucas Michaels?
Yes, I have. It's in the data room. I think you'll be interested in our findings. We're not sure what to make of it yet.
Good. I'm looking forward to it. When you return, we'll run the SIN test at Nazareth site and continue operations as planned. We're on schedule.
Understood. And for Operation Homebound?
It will commence April 4th.
Easter. Man, there's like we're just actually throwing a tantrum about this. Oh god, that conversation was a bit wild. That was between Dr. Robert Spencer and Dr. Gamma Churchill. So first of all, they talk about having new information on Dr. Lucas Michaels, who is a name that I'm pretty sure we have not heard since like the first episode of Midwest Angelica. Dr. Lucas Michaels was originally the main person at Home HQ, and then randomly in 1989 he vanished and nobody knew where he went. But it seems that they now have some information on him. Another thing was, this guy said that he wanted to see Dr. Stanley Vega. Okay, so this guy wants Dr. Stanley Vega and all of his research because he's doing research on the Akashic Plane. And apparently the Akashic Plane is how, you know, all of the infection is connected. But he also says to him, make sure he doesn't learn the true intentions of Home Delta. And he shouldn't be infected because the BSL lab shouldn't be infected for at least 10 days. Like, it's almost like he's predicting when that lab's going to be infected. And then they want to do a SIN test to determine if he has phantom blood. I don't even understand any of that. Phantom blood? Did we learn about that? I know the video where Dr. Evans is infected, but he's still kind of moving like a normal person, is called phantoms. So I'm wondering, does phantom blood mean when you're infected, but you're still functioning like a normal human? I'm not even too sure. Let's keep watching though. Delta Squad infiltrates Home HQ. Operative Director Robert Spencer.
Churchill, do you read? On the line, over. Bravo team, follow Officer Rico to the temple for final sample collection. Charlie team, follow me to BSL lab for hostage retrieval.
Temple entrance. So yeah, they're saying that Home HQ, because of all the infected, has formed a temple, which is when so many people are infected that they kind of just mesh together into what is called a temple, and temples can produce other life forms that are STARKILL based.
Proceed with sample collection. Avoid direct contact with the STARKILL.
This is ballsy. BSL lab.
Dr. Vega, we've identified a potential risk in the BSL labs, required to be taken to the quarantine zone for a mandatory screening for infection.
I understand that it's protocol, but this is the highest safety level lab at home, and there shouldn't be any risk of cross-contamination in the last 2 months.
Regardless, we still have to take you to quarantine. Where's your lab partner, Dr. Ezra?
He was transferred back to the main facility.
That's okay. We'll pick him up along the way. Bring your research materials and maybe place in quarantine for a few weeks.
So they retrieved Dr. Vega. SIN test performed at Nazareth site. First patient, Dr. Stanley Vega.
Okay, Dr. Vega, I'm assuming you're familiar with the process of a SIN test, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, great. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions and you are to answer truthfully. Once the test is complete, we'll know if you are infected or not. That being said, here's the first question. It's It's Christmas morning and you're with your family. Your wife hands you a wrapped gift. What do you do next?
Well, of course, I'd thank my wife and open the present, carefully unraveling the ribbons, and then I'd probably give her a hug.
Next question. It's early in the morning and you see a UFO in the sky, illuminated by the light of dawn. What are you thinking?
I'd probably be a bit confused, but I'd probably think of it rationally. Could it potentially be a balloon, a plane, a helicopter? A UFO implies that it's merely unidentified. It could be entirely prosaic.
Okay, last question. You have decided to participate in a charity event for your local church. Why did you make this decision?
Well, I was born and raised Catholic, and I think if I had the opportunity to give to those less fortunate, I would.
Thank you, Dr. Vega. Your results came clean. Please exit to the door on your right and remain seated in the waiting room until you are called. Thank you again for your cooperation.
Yeah, based on that test, he seems chill. Second patient, Dr. Solomon Ezra. So this was apparently his partner.
Dr. Ezra, are you familiar with the SIN test?
Yes, I am.
All right. As you know, I'm going to be asking you a series of questions. Answer them truthfully. At the end, we will be able to determine if you are infected or not. Let's begin. First question. You work at a competitive company. The promotion comes down to either you or your coworker. What do you do?
I would work hard and try to beat him. I would think, why should he be the one to get a promotion? I, of course, would be the one doing the work. He was just lucky.
Next question. It's a Saturday night and you decide to cook dinner for the whole family. What made you make this decision?
If I were to do that, it would be because I was hungry.
Okay, next. You see a man and woman embracing each other in a field. There are white clouds dotted against a blue sky. What are you thinking at this moment?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Why would I be in the field? But what purpose does it serve? What is the purpose of the sky?
Do you go to church, Dr. Ezra?
Is this part of the test?
Answer the question, Ezra.
I do.
Okay, let me ask you another question. Do you believe in God?
I do. I said I go to church.
Very well. Let's say you're poor and don't have any food. You've received bread from a stranger, but it's only enough for one person and your son is on the brink of complete starvation. What do you do next?
I would eat the bread, of course. I would be hungry. Any sane person would do the same.
Alright.
Would you say your knowledge of the world is greater than anybody you've met?
Yes, I would say that applies to me. Actually, I know it does.
And what about your concept of infinity? Can you see it clearly?
Yes, I can.
Code 66, calling. Administer asphyxiation agent.
Code 66.
This guy's infected, bro.
Task cannot be completed. Error.
Yeah, let's take him out. Again, the concept of infinity, they when they talk about Azazel, the infected, they say that he's like infinite in himself. He never dies. He's infinity incarnate. So it makes sense that someone infected would say that. Medical report. Dr. Robert Spencer, infection site. Patient in critical condition, enact preservation protocol immediately. MX cryopod recommended. So they're trying to save him?
Spencer, I know you can hear me, but I'm afraid you won't be able to respond now. This wasn't according to the scenario, and I shouldn't have let Ezra into the Nazareth site. Fortunately, Ezra has been eliminated, and the Nazareth site is under strict lockdown. Unfortunately, because you were infected, the best we can do is slow the infection as much as possible. Which means we had to put you into cryo sleep. Your knowledge is too valuable. Listen, Spencer, I'm researching something important with the STARKILL. A way to perhaps reverse the infection using STARKILL samples. It could even grant immortality. It will be done by April 4th, and on that day, humanity will prevail and defeat the STARKILL threat. Project Babylon will be complete, and we will then be able to initiate Operation Homebound. In my effort to understand the cosmos, I made a grave mistake, and I'm only now seeing the weight of my sins unfold before my eyes. God, please forgive me.
there's a lot that happened there. So obviously they do the test on Vega passes, but when they do the test on Ezra, you could see just based on how Ezra responds that he's infected. I mean, saying insane things like, you know, you and your son don't have money for food or whatever, and your son is on the brink of starvation and you have a piece of bread. What do you do? And then he's like, oh, I'm eating it, not my son that's about to starve. It's almost, I guess, selfish in a way, or just like very about itself. Like even when it asks about the promotion thing, it's like, oh, I would be the one that would get the promotion. I would be the one that would work hard because I do all the work. I deserve it. And they even asked a question specifically about the church, like doing church work for your community and stuff like that, which again goes back to what Ray O'Connor did when he was infected and how he went to a church place to infect everyone else. So it's like they're trying to ask the STARKILL questions based on things it's done already, which I think is actually very smart for them to do. Now, there is a good amount of religious terms thrown in, I guess you could say. For example, the test is called the sin test. The location that they're doing this at is the Nazareth site. Yeah, Nazareth was known as the childhood home of Jesus. And then please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments here, but apparently Babylon in the Bible, the city, was a symbol of sin and rebellion. And even the description of this YouTube video is another base 64 code, and it translates to betrayal. And like we saw at the end there, apparently Dr. Robert Spencer gets infected. So to prevent him from getting fully infected or even dying, they just put him in a cryo chamber. So basically freeze him to slow down the whole process. But they think that they have a way to take this STARKILL virus and reverse it and maybe even achieve immortality, which I guess makes sense because when they referred to Azazel, or you know, AZ001 in the sky, they say that he's in infinity incarnate, that he doesn't actually die. It's just sometimes he has a long sleep. So I'm wondering if they're like reverse engineering the STARKILL virus to not have the negatives but have the positive of immortality still. Again, this is a lot of information we're getting, and I'm trying my best to organize it and get everything, you know, in order. If you guys disagree with me on anything that I said, please let me know in the comments down below, because I'd love to hear your opinion. But we still have 3 more videos left in this interlude, so let's go on to the next one. Video 3, Coliseum. Archive 001, May 23rd, 1986, Home Delta. Okay, so we're going back in time now. Michaels, what am I looking at here? Churchill, a reconstruction of a brain image obtained while you were sleeping. Does it look familiar to you? I occasionally see things like that when I dream, yes. You said this started on April 5th, 1985, correct? Yes, the day we found AZ001, the anomaly orbiting Jupiter. About that, do you believe it has any correlation to these dreams? Yes, I'm really not sure. The rational answer is no, it does not. But something about it disturbs me, almost like it's speaking to me. And sometimes I feel like I'm somebody else entirely. Elaborate. I can't really describe it concretely. It's like I've been here before, but a really long time ago. Before the beginning of the universe, even. I can almost see my life from back then, but it's not me at all. Dr. Spencer has worked on occult research in the United States intelligence community for nearly a decade. My background is in psychoactive drugs and psychological research. We are highly involved in this field of research, and we take reports like this very seriously. So you two know what's going on then? We don't have quite enough data to give you a clear answer just yet. We need more reconstruction scans to form a better understanding of your situation first. This could be entirely prosaic still. That is crazy, because that means that my prediction or thought process when I covered season 1 was correct. Because the whole thing was like, how did Home, or I guess in this case, it was actually Dr. Michaels. How did Dr. Michaels name AZ001 exactly what it's called before it even got close to Earth. Like, Dr. Michaels names it AZ001, right? Okay, just the name, you know, blah, blah, blah. Then, when AZ001 comes to Earth, makes contact with Earth, and infects people, the infected start to call it by its real name, which is Azazel. So how could Dr. Michaels know the real name of this object, this sentient object in space that was like near Jupiter at the time when they found it? How could that happen? And that's because AZ001, from day one of human discovery, was actually affecting the minds of the people that discovered it. Or in this case, Dr. Michaels, who we know ends up disappearing at some point in 1989, and it must be because it's messing with him like this. So just to go back, this looks like, I think it's an altar. It looks very similar to the image of the altar that we see at the Pine Church. As far as the rest of this, though, I'm not too sure. These almost look like eyes. But Michael says, like, I occasionally see things like that when I dream. Yes. He says it started the day that they found AZ001. He feels like it's speaking to him. It's like I've been here before, but a really long time ago, before the beginning of the universe. So there's just insane things being revealed here. In the meantime, we are appointing you as head of a new organization to study this anomaly. This organization will be operated in coordination with NASA and will be funded by the United States government. Your team will be assigned in the coming weeks with operations starting by the end of the year. We look forward to working with you. And then, wait, hold on. Whoa, what did Michael say there? Likewise, Dr. Churchill. Okay, so it's technically Dr. Churchill and Dr. Spencer are even beyond home in terms of like authority, I guess, because they're the ones telling like Michael's like, hey, listen, you're gonna be the head of home to deal with this thing. Like, hold on, this looks like a creature or something. Like, these look like eyes. This is the head. These are the arms. And yeah, this looks like an altar, which would make sense because, I mean, an altar is an altar. So it could be an altar to this being. This could be Azazel's true form, maybe, that's pictured in Dr. Michaels' head. That's so interesting. I love that reveal. Home begins operation by March of 1987 and is led by Dr. Lucas Michaels. Home Delta begins operation on March 13th, 1987 and is led by Dr. Robert Spencer and Dr. Gamma Churchill. Dr. Lucas Michaels is never made aware of the existence of Home Delta, which is pretty crazy considering that he's the head of Home, that he's not made aware of the other branch, Home Delta. And I guess Home Delta, since day one, maybe they knew like AZ001 was going to be something so far beyond that they wanted to... I can't even predict yet. I can't even predict exactly what Home Delta's goal is. It's hard to tell because it seems like they just discovered that they could turn the STARKILL into an immortality in a way. Archive 002, February 7th, 99. Project Babylon Evolutionary Phase Overview. Gamma Churchill, Home Delta Research Division.
AZ001, or the STARKILL, whatever you wish to call it, is a collective hive mind. It's one singular organism. It's all connected and it speaks to itself telepathically. What might have appeared as the rotting organs of a once forgotten deity has now shown its true colors in the form of a highly advanced singular organism comparable to a supercomputer. Through this network we're calling the Akashic Plane, which we've derived from the anthroposophic theory of the Akashic Records, AZ001, the evolved God, can contain and process memories of everything that it has ever assimilated. As such, its intelligence and wisdom is beyond comprehension. It is an evolved life form, to put it simply. Humanity in its current state has no way of even entertaining the possibility of a fair fight. AZ001 is simply better than us on all fronts. That's why we began Project Babylon here at Home Delta. And that's why we're prepared to level the playing field by bringing humanity to its next stage of evolution, using the STARKILL's own biological framework. Evolution has been the mission of Project Babylon since the very beginning. But now, thanks to the results of the Home experiment, we've gathered enough data to begin the first tangible steps of this artificial evolution of humanity.
Okay, so basically what he's saying there is that it's almost impossible for humans to beat the STARKILL as they are now. because AZ001 being connected to all the infected has so much intelligence because it has the combined intelligence of everything it's ever infected. So it's almost impossible to fight because this thing would outsmart it. So that's why they're doing Project Babel. Tower of Babel is a mass communication network using neuron interlinked Akashic plane. It's capable of 21 zettabyte storage capacity and is mechanical biological grown with a mixture of STARKILL cells and human brain cells. So is their goal to like reverse engineer the STARKILL virus and then combine it with human cells so that we can also communicate through the Akashic plane? Let me listen to the end of what he said again.
Here at Home Delta. That's why we're prepared to level the playing field by bringing humanity to its next stage of evolution, using the STARKILL's own biological framework. Evolution has been the mission of Project Babylon since the very beginning. But now, thanks to the results of the home experiment, we've gathered enough data to begin the first tangible steps of this artificial evolution of humanity.
Okay, let's see exactly what that is then. Archive 3, February 26th. Deathbringer training overview. You crazy if you think I'm not gonna go and look through all those images. Okay, Akasha Dome, receiver, cybermetric neural interface. Deathbringer Gladiator type config, Lightbringer MK3, Deathbringer Gladiator type. It's interesting because obviously the home workers that we saw earlier on, they had kind of like a cylinder helmet, and these guys have like a pyramid helmet, which is kind of cool. Then cyber enhanced, collected STARKILL samples from Home HQ have provided the framework for combat simulation entities. Live neurons controlled via Akash frequency controller beta. Wait, so they collected STARKILL samples from the infected Home HQ to make like enemies, and the Deathbringers are gonna fight them in this Coliseum? Home Delta Advanced Military Training Facility. Arena config, yeah. Live training against revived STARKILL samples. Coliseum site, Columbia, Missouri. Oh! Oh, did he kill it? Oh, it looks like another one got him. Soldier 338 terminated. Archive 4, March 4th, 1999. STARKILL stem cell properties. STARKILL stem cells, when properly introduced into a host organism, can actually fortify the host cell's natural resistances, as well as promote as well as promote rapid cell regeneration upon cell death. So pretty much STARKILL can be better for you. I mean, obviously, apart from the fact that you'd be, mentally lost because you'd be connected to AZ001, but in terms of the properties it has, it's actually pretty good because it has natural resistances and promotes rapid cell regeneration, even if you get hurt. These augmented host cells could hypothetically increase human endurance to physical damage, aging, and disease, as well as provide immunity to subsequent STARKILL infections. Interesting. So this is why it can be used to better humanity. If they just get rid of the fact that it connects you to a hive mind with AZ001, it could actually just be better for humans and make them just better entirely. Most test subjects were killed in the process of STARKILL cell integration. Yeah, I can imagine it's not easy. Infected, liquefied, cellular breakdown, skin melted. Recent tests have resulted in survivors aided with cybernetic life support. Acceptable. 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 It doesn't really look like they're okay, though. These biomechanical soldiers form the backbone of Home Delta's military. Archive 5. So they're using the people that actually mesh well with STARKILL cells as military. Because they're more durable. They're kind of like super soldiers, but they're not even, it doesn't even seem like they're people anymore. I mean, just looking at those images, they're like, they're being so supported by other things. I will say cryo. Incoming transmission from Churchill.
It's me. I've given up my rank as Admiral of Home Delta. That title is going to you in preparation of Operation Homebound. You will have control over the Tower of Babel, and you'll be able to control the Deathbringer squads entirely with your mind. The pieces have been in place since the beginning. It's unfortunate that you ended up in this state, but this is the only way. Once I finalize Project Babylon, it's all up to you. This battle is yours to decide.
He just said he has the ability to control the Deathbringer squad with his mind. Archive 6, March 28th, 1999. All right, we're approaching Easter. Protocol 17B enacted on March 3rd. Protocol 17B enacted March 3rd, 1999. Akashic plane research at Home HQ contained and secured. Vega. Deleted. They deleted all of it? Research on information retrieval from the Akashic plane is still ongoing at Home Delta. So someone deleted it when they shouldn't have. Akashic interference probe. Podolsky neuron cluster. Extraction. A completed device is expected soon. Advancements have been made thanks to the test conducted on March 13th, 1999. Okay. Here's what I think is going on in this episode pretty much. So, Dr. Churchill basically says, STARKILL, way too strong. Way too strong. Its brain capacity and how much information it has is almost incomprehensible because it's all connected to everything it's infected, to everything it's assimilated on this Akashic plane that it has. So how do we fight it? By basically re-engineering STARKILL cells to work for us. And how do we do that? By creating Deathbringers, these soldiers right here. And the reason why we're doing this is because STARKILL cells can fortify the host cell's natural resistances, as well as promote rapid cell regeneration upon cell death, provide immunity to subsequent STARKILL infections, endurance to physical damage, aging, and disease. There's a lot of benefits from us using STARKILL cells. But as we saw through multiple pictures here, you could see that by giving human STARKILL cells, it doesn't always go great. There's a lot that needs to be done. But sometimes it is somewhat successful. Kind of. I mean, this is considered acceptable, apparently, the way these people are looking. But the thought process is, if we can get us to use STARKILL cells, then we'll be able to fight back against the STARKILL. The only problem is that by giving humans STARKILL cells, they become connected to the infection, right? They become connected to STARKILL, to AZ001. So how do we prevent that? I believe that's where the Tower of Babel comes in here. The Tower of Babel is a mass communication network using a neurons interlink Akashic plane. It is capable of 21 zettabyte storage capacity and is mechanical, biological, grown with a mixture of STARKILL cells and human brain cells. So pretty much, we need to separate the STARKILL cells that we put on humans from the Akashic plane that connects them to AZ-001 and instead make our own Akashic plane that connects to here, the Tower of Babel. So again, re-engineering the STARKILL to work for us rather than it working for the STARKILL. The only problem with this is that I feel like this is destined for failure. Like I talked about in the previous video and how this can connect to religion a little bit, I looked up the Tower of Babel. And apparently, the Tower of Babel is a story from Genesis 11 that explains the origin of diverse languages and cultures after the flood. Humanity, united by a single language and settled in Shinar, decided to build a city with a tower reaching to the heavens and make a name for themselves. God, witnessing their unified ambition, confused their speech, causing them to scatter and abandon the project. So pretty much, this Tower of Babel, God is going to do something to force humans to abandon the project. And by God, I think in this case, it's going to be Azazel. It's going to be AZ-001. AZ-001 is somehow going to take this and use it against them. Now, I think that's going to happen because of this. If you remember, they talked about in the last video how Robert Spencer became infected, the guy that's in cryosleep right now. And later in the video, when Churchill talks to him, we learn that Churchill gave Spencer control of the Deathbringers. Control of like these new STARKILL human super soldiers. But he's infected. As far as we were told in the last video, he's in cryosleep, but the cryosleep is meant to slow the infection. It doesn't just stop it. So if this guy continues to become fully infected, a fully infected person will have control of the Deathbringers. The thing that we made to fight the STARKILL. STARKILL will have control of that. So I think that's where that's gonna go wrong. And then also there was like something at the end where Protocol 17B was enacted and... Oh, wait, I just realized. User S Vega. Was it Vega that deleted all of the files? Because it says research on information retrieval from the Akashic plane is still ongoing at Home Delta. So I think maybe it was Stanley Vega, the guy that we saw in the first video, that deleted all this information. I also think what they're showing with this, the Akashic interface probe and how it connects to the Podolsky neuron cluster here, is going to show that it's going to extract the Podolsky neurons from the STARKILL infection so that we could use it without being connected to the STARKILL. I think that's the point of this little device here. That's what its use is for. And they say a completed device is expected soon. But again, this is the information that I think is going on, that I'm trying my best to understand. Another thing is the description codes continue here. The base 64 here translates to mans. So I think we're having a little bit of a hollow bird situation here where we're getting like one word per description and they all match up eventually. Because if we add them all up right now, it says knowledge betrays mans. So I'm guessing we have 2 more videos, so we'll get 2 other words, which will give us a full sentence there. But all right, I think that's it for that one. So let's jump into the next one. Video 4, Exodus. Babylon Project Log, 4/4/1999. It's Easter. Director Gamma Churchill.
My name is Dr. Gamma Churchill. The date is April 4th, 1999. Today, the Babylon Project will be completed. The STARKILL stem cell insertion into Dr. Spencer will occur at sundown, making him, potentially, the most powerful human being in history. Following this event, the Tower of Babel will activate, linking the Deathbringers' minds into the local Akashic network. Spencer will then have telepathic control over the highly trained and near immortal Deathbringer militia.
Okay, there we go. So I was right about that. So he'll have control over the nearly immortal, apparently, Deathbringer army.
Finally, Operation Homebound will commence at midnight, bringing a bitter end to the STARKILL's assault on humanity. I have absolute faith in humanity's victory.
Okay, so Operation Homebound, I believe, is the operation to destroy the original Home HQ, which is now almost entirely infected. Babylon, Project Babylon, Catalyst Initiation.
Dr. Aaron,
Keep monitor 4 on the main screen. We're waiting on the all clear for insertion.
Roger that. We have a safety clearance. Bacterial contamination threat is 0. Infection site has reached standstill. Akasha team is running final checks on the tower now.
Clock is running. On my command, begin the insertion protocol.
Ready.
T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark.
Catastrophic energy spike detected.
Whoa! Exodus.
Spencer's gone. Aaron, we need to abort the mission. It's done. Babylon failed.
Yes, sir.
This might be our only hope. Let's go.
What might be our only hope? Damn, so the Nazareth site is just GG now.
Aaron, there's not much we can do about it now. Come on, let's keep moving.
This is awesome. Alright, so they're escaping. It looks like they're definitely getting away from there. And just as predicted, the Tower of Babel doomed for failure. Secure bunker, classified location.
We need to work quickly. I'm setting up an Akashic receiver node to listen in on the commands given to the Deathbringers. I'm sure the STARKILL is going to use them as some kind of pawn.
Are we safe here?
For now, yes. I set this bunker up in case of an emergency. I'm the only one who knows it exists.
Okay, so Churchill still has a way of like listening to the Akashic plane that the Tower of Babel has. So he's going to see what the STARKILL is telling the Deathbringers to do now, since the STARKILL has complete control of the Deathbringers that they created.
Aaron, while I set this up, I want you to start processing the video logs. We need as much evidence as we can get to deliver to the Pentagon.
Yes, sir.
Akashic receiver.
It's running.
What's going on?
It's in the STARKILL's native tongue, if you will. It's encoded. One of the functions of the Akashic probe is to decode the messages into a readable format.
13th moon, west.
No surviving eyes. Restart. 13th moon, west.
April 13th. The STARKILL is probably planning on faking Operation Homebound.
Churchill, I have found you. You are careless. I find it humorous how you continue to poke at the sleeping bear, yet you still fade like the plague. A sad specimen, unable to comprehend your limitations. I must remark, the toys you left me give me great delight, as if to look upon a child's crude drawings. They are almost completely useless, save for the creation of a veil to act as a magician's toolkit. A veil to mask the truth to your governing body. Once your toys have served their temporary purpose, they shall be discarded. I'm sending some to you now as a parting gift. I do hope you enjoy your own creations. Best of luck to you, from Admiral Nero.
I'm setting up a jammer. We'll make them lose connection. Grab the cross run for the car.
Dude. Oh, the Deathbringer soldiers.
They're here.
Damn, he took them down. Or he took one down at least. Are they actually gonna get away?
There's one behind us.
Oh, there we go. What happens to the fact that they were practically immortal? It seems like he's just shooting them and then they fall. Unless maybe they're not actually dead, like they get shot, they fall, but then they like recover and come back up, you know what I mean?
We're lucky there were only a few. The jammer must have confused them. Aaron, your name will now be Fakebringer. Your mission will be to infiltrate the Babel site and relay any information regarding the STARKILL's plans. The suit will protect your biosignature. From there, we will begin our retaliation.
Sir, I'm willing to die for humanity.
May God bless you.
Babylon Project Log 4/8/1999, Gamma Churchill.
I'm in a secure location. No transmissions in or out. As of an hour ago, Fakebringer has completed the first infiltration attempt. He has successfully entered the facility, obtained information, and exited.
Okay, so the guy that he was with, Aaron, is pretty much, I guess, acting as a Deathbringer. Like he's fitting in with them, and that's his way of infiltrating.
Meeting me at a rendezvous point to relay his findings. According to Fakebringer, Nero is planning to set up a conference after Operation Homebound with the Secretary of Defense and members of NASA administration in attendance. It is here where I'm going to make my first move. A declaration of war to Nero. From now on, my name shall be Piso. Nero will know what that means. The rage I feel now is debilitating. Maybe it's my dying spirit, grasping for the last remnants of humanity within me. Or maybe I'm just hiding from fear. The mistakes I've made have eaten me alive, that much I know. My injuries, a mark of my body torn apart. My confusion, a mark of my mind defiled, and my heartlessness, a mark of my soul tainted. When we first began the Babylon project, Dr. Spencer told me something I should have never forgotten. Knowledge betrays man's ego. And now, the knowledge I've gained from losing everything has made me realize how powerless I am in the face of infinity. Yet I continue, unaware of the fate that may be bestowed upon me. I don't believe God can save us now. Only the tenacity of humanity's everlasting soul will have the courage to prevail.
Alright, so pretty much GG. Like, everything that happened just now went to absolute crap. Home Delta was trying to, make our own Akashic plane so that we could have our own super soldiers that are all connected in a way of fighting against the STARKILL and taking them down and everything like that. And then in the final steps, it all went to hell. Right when they were about to make Spencer the, leader and the brain control for the Deathbringers, the STARKILL took over and just completely wiped out everything that they had going on there, completely took over the entire Nazareth area, took over the Tower of Babel, took over the Deathbringers, and even laughed in the face of Churchill there when it's speaking to him, and it's like, it's basically just, he was just kind of saying like, "Oh, you're pathetic." It's like, you know, you made these like little soldiers or whatever, but I'm still going to use them against you in a way. Now, the good thing is that they got away. Churchill and Aaron got away. So Churchill now goes by Paiso, and Aaron is now a fake bringer. That's his name. And Aaron is now fake bringer, which is his name. And I guess he's infiltrating the Deathbringers to find out what's actually going on, like what Nero's actually going to make the Deathbringers do. Also, yeah, what I'm guessing was Spencer is now known as Nero, and now Nero is the head of all the Deathbringers and everything now. It's like the head STARKILL member for that area. So if you watched Homebound already, because it was the first episode of season 2 that came out before the Interlude did, then you pretty much know where this goes. But we do have one more video, so let's watch the last one. Video 5, Nero. Fake Bringer Report /9. On April 7, 1999, Fake Bringer successfully infiltrated the now STARKILL infested Babel site and retrieved intel regarding the STARKILL's operations. Amongst the findings was a file containing data on Dr. Robert Spencer's assimilation and subsequent transformation. This event, known as the Rebirth Event, has led to the growth of a STARKILL mass far larger than any biomass previously recorded. The central intelligence of this STARKILL mass has obtained the ability to mimic human speech. It calls itself Admiral Nero. Babel site, Easter. Spencer's cryopod, Tower of Babel, monitor station. This is in milliseconds. We actually did see this on the video. It kind of just exploded and took over everywhere. We could see it took over everything. Cam records 4/7. Yeah, it's the Tower of Babel, and it's all over it. And inside of it. These files prove that the STARKILL used the biomass from the Tower of Babel to grow to this extreme size. In addition, the process of assimilating the tower has enabled the STARKILL to gain control over the minds of the Deathbringers. It's hypothesized that this attack was premeditated. Alright. And that was the Midwest Angelica interlude. Pretty much what confused me with this is that the release happened, like, it was season 1 release, and then the first episode of season 2 released, which was Homebound, and I did make a video on that one. And I watched that, but I was also very confused by a lot of names that we were given. I didn't know who Admiral Nero was. I didn't know who Paiso was. But now you get to watch this interlude and you understand everything that happened between season 1 and season 2, and it explains the beginning of season 1 entirely. Like, now we know who these characters are. Now we know how they came to be, what happened, what Home Delta was trying to do. So I think this was incredibly well done. And I recommend that if you haven't already, go rewatch Homebound. I will cover Homebound again in my season 2 video that I do, but I definitely had to make a whole separate video on this just to go over everything, because there was a lot of information here, and I think it's very overwhelming when there's too much information being given. So I thought it'd be best to, let's do an interlude video and then a season 2 video, so you guys can watch them, digest the information, and then move on to the next one. But yeah, so overall, this was an attempt at humanity fighting back against the STARKILL, and it just went terribly wrong. I mean, they tried to make a super soldier army, and it ended up just becoming a bigger part of the STARKILL. And apparently now Admiral Nero and that entire site is now like one of the biggest masses of STARKILL ever seen before. I'm excited to rewatch Homebound myself, just to fully you know, see the after effects of everything that happens right now and to dive into season 2, because I can't wait to see where season 2 goes after this. Like, just when humanity was screwed in season 1, and then it was like, all right, here we go. We got a plan to fight back. It's a little sketchy what's going on here, but we got a plan to fight back. And then it screwed again. It just flips on us again. So like, are we gonna have another attempt in season 2? Is anything gonna be successful in season 2? But I guess we'll just have to see. I mean, it definitely seems like the battle now is Paizo versus Nero, and Paizo's pretty pissed because, you know, Nero used to be his best friend. Nero used to be Spencer. So I hope that Paizo ends Nero and finally gives Spencer the proper death that he deserves. And hopefully by defeating Nero, it'll have a big impact on the STARKILL and give humanity a chance to fight back again. But I guess we'll just have to see in season 2. But of course, you know what to do. If you enjoyed the series that you watched today, please be sure to go support the original creator of it, Midwest Angelica, whose link to their channel will be at the top of the description down below. Please be sure to go and support your analog horror content creators. I am a part of Midwest Angelica's Patreon, which will be linked in the description down below, and they talk about how they make the episodes a lot on there, and it's incredibly impressive. There's like some behind the scenes images of how they do things, and it really is mind-blowing because this analog horror has such a unique style to it. Like, just the color palette and the way things are shown, it all just fits so well, and you're never like really thrown off by anything. And it's such a masterpiece, honestly. I was getting definitely very confused in the middle, but it's like, even if you're confused in one episode, the next episode clears it up for you and helps you out. So I can really appreciate that about this, and it just makes me even more excited for season 2. Another thing is Midwest Angelica has absolutely phenomenal merch. They just dropped another line of merch for the season 2 finale yesterday, so definitely go check out their merch. The link to that will be in the description down below. I'm going to buy some immediately after I finish recording here. I already have one of the shirts with the logo on it, and I have a poster over there in my room. You guys might have seen it in the room tour video, and it's just incredible stuff, man. They really are doing everything perfect here. But otherwise, if you guys enjoyed this video, please don't forget to drop a like on it, and if you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe. We're trying to hit 1 million subscribers, and we are insanely close. And all right, guys, hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.